Well, we've given everybody the starting lineups, and we did not have ourselves in the stream, so we are going to give you the starting lineups to begin with here. As leading off for the Lions tonight, we'll give you the Lions starting lineup. It'll be Masayuki Kuwahara to lead it off. He's in left field. Shinya Hasegawa will play first base and bat second. The center fielder, number 51, Manaya Nishikawa, is in center. At third base is number 8, Seiya Watanabe. Batting in the fifth spot is the DH, number 5, Shuta Tonosaki. Batting sixth and catching is number 10, Taiga Kojima. Batting seventh in right field is number 25, Alexander Canario. Hitting eighth at second is number 4, Kazunori Ishii. And batting ninth, the shortstop, is number 62, Natsuo Takazawa. And they are going to be facing Kaito Mori, who takes to the hill for the Marines in this one. And the first pitch is ready to come, and it is a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Kuwahara. Kuwahara joining the Lions, a bit of a remake team from last year. He spent the last number of seasons with the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Kuwahara. As I mentioned, the remade team, obviously tonight you've got Canario in right, you've got Kazunori Ishii at second, formerly of the Fighters, and you've got Kuwahara in left, so three of the newcomers getting opportunities in which to play. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on, it's grounded over to short. Fielded by Fujioka, he throws to first, and Kuwahara is in the books on a ground out, 6-3 for out number 1. So 1 up and 1 away. That'll bring up the first baseman in Shinya Hasegawa. Well, Hasegawa will be one of the holdovers. He and Nishikawa, who bat in the 2-3 spot. But interestingly, some different positions tonight. I'm not used to seeing Hasegawa at first base. He had played quite a bit in the outfield the last couple of years. Of course, with the addition of Kuwahara, that gives you some roster flexibility. And he bats from the right side here against Mori, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. Not in the lineup tonight is Tyler Nevin, who we would expect is going to provide a lot of impact for the Lions. As the 1-0 is on the way, it's a breaking ball, misses outside. The count now goes to 2-0. When you look at that line and lineup, as I mentioned, the three in particular, Ishii in the infield. They also had a couple other players that have come across as well in the offseason from different clubs. There's also Anko Lin, who's come from the Taiwanese league. There's a fastball taken on the inside corner for a called strike. The count is 2-1. Then, of course, it's spent a lot of time with the Chinese Taipei, the Taiwan national team. And here comes the 2-1 on the way. The pitches and delivers. Fastball swung on a grounded foul past the bag at third base, and the count now goes to 2-2. So when you insert those players into the lineup, that's a different looking offense than what the Lions could roll out last year. And then also, too, one of the unfortunate losses to Tatsuya Imai, who left to go to the Houston Astros. He will not be getting the ball every 6 days. There's a fastball that misses down. The count is 3 balls and 2 strikes now to Hasegawa. So what do I think of the Lions' chances this year? Well, personally, I think the Lions are going to miss the playoffs again, but I do think they're going to creep back up the standings. I think they'll be knocking on the door for third place, but I still think the Buffaloes are just a cut above of the Lions. There's a fastball swung on and is grounded through the legs of the third base coach, foul, and the count remains at 3-2. 7 for 18 in the spring is Hasegawa. No homers and 3 RBIs. Off to a pretty good start. And as I say, for one of the holdovers with Hasegawa, at least in my eyes, Nishikawa, they've moved Seiya Watanabe into third base. Got predominantly a lot of time in left field last year as that ball is grounded foul over on the third base side. The count remains at 3-2. Interesting to see how he plays and handles the hot corner. Again, roster flexibility depending upon who it is. You've got Nevin who can play there as well. Of course, Nevin can play on both corners in the infield. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Mori kicks, and he delivers. It is a breaking ball. Waved that and missed, and Hasegawa is down on strikes. He's out for the second out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the center fielder, Manaya Nishikawa. We welcome Samurai Prayer. And a good evening to you as well. Glad you could make it in here tonight. This is going to be our last game for a couple of nights. We'll do one on Sunday. Our next one, we'll skip tomorrow. We'll do a Sunday ball game, and then we'll do the semifinal game of the Classic and the finals. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count is 1-0 to Nishikawa. As I mentioned, I think the Lions are going to slot into the fourth spot, but they are trending back in the right direction, although losing Imai as one of your starters, or as one of their starters, is going to hurt. There's a fastball swung on it, grounded up the middle. Diving is the second baseman, Ogawa. What a play by him, but he's not going to be able to throw in time. Great effort there by the second baseman. It's going to go down as an infield single for Nishikawa. Nishikawa runs well. If it was maybe somebody else. Our friend Samurai Prayer says, good afternoon. Yeah, it is afternoon your time. It would be just after 1 o'clock or 1300 hours. Glad you can make it in. Yesterday's game, all the scoring took place in the first inning, and that was it. So Seiya Watanabe at the plate, batting from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Mori. There's a fastball that catches the inside corner for called strike. The count is 0-1. Watanabe was in his rookie year last year. He had a decent season. I think there'll be a lot more expected of him in 2026. Trying to build off the campaign that he had as a rookie. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Lefty Mori leading in, getting that sign as he's ready to go back to work. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on. This ball is going to be looped into right field, coming in hard. And there to make the catch is the right fielder, Fujiwara, and that will end it here for the Lions in their half of the first inning. They had no runs in the inning. They did get a hit. There were no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. We are through a half inning. Your score is the Lions 0 and the Marines coming to bat. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Stay with us.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball.
Welcome back, everybody. Natsuki Takuchi is on the hill here, and he is going to be facing the top of the order in Kyoto Fujiwara, Neftali Soto, and Gregory Polanco. As the lefty ready to go here, he kicks and he delivers. The first pitch fastball comes up and in on Fujiwara, and the count is quickly 1-0. Fujiwara batting from the left side here against the lefty. 10 for 27 in exhibition play with a homer and 4 runs batted in. Takes a breaking ball down low, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Baseball Lover 1984 says, let's go Marines. Glad to have you in the house. If I'm not mistaken, I want to say you are from New Jersey. There's a fastball that misses up, and the count goes to 3-0. Early action and getting a chance to look at both of these 2 clubs for the first time, as I mentioned before. Both the Lions and the Marines going at it here. There's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. Count goes to 3-1. I was just giving my predictions earlier. You probably will unsub me and walk away because I don't think the Marines are going to have a very good year this year. There's a fastball swung on it, has popped up. Oh, I don't know what's going on over there. This is going to drop in for a base hit. The bat was absolutely shattered in the hands of the hitter, Fujiwara. It was popped up. He had to avoid the bat coming out into the infield as the barrel was flying towards the first and second base side. The pitcher didn't know where it was. It was popped up. It literally almost came right back down on the pitching rubber. It falls on the mound. That's going to be one of the easiest singles you're going to have, as Fujiwara is aboard here, and that's going to bring up Neftali Soto to the plate. Our friend Samurai Prayer says, congratulations to the Canadian baseball fans as they are in the top 8 of the Classic. And they do have a chance to knock off the Americans. I mean, anything can happen in a one-game gig. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. I mean, if the Italians can do it, why not the Canadians? We'll have to see. They got to play the game tomorrow night. It just goes off at 8 o'clock Eastern or 5 Pacific. As there's a fastball that just misses down and in, and the count goes to 2-0 on Soto. So 2 balls and no strikes. I was saying about the Marines, they're going to be in tough this year. They're in a retooling almost stage as they throw over to first base and diving back in time as the runner. So 2 balls and no strikes as the lefty leans in. Our friend Baseball Lover says whether it's the Marines or the Mets. Well, the Mets are going to have something to cheer about. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 2-1. Despite losing and retooling some of the players, I do think the Mets got better in the offseason. Pete Alonso leaving, trading McNeil, getting rid of Brandon Nimmo. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is looped into center field and over to make the catch. For the out is the center fielder, Nishikawa. That's going to put Soto into the books for out number 1, and that'll bring up the DH and Gregory Polanco. As I was kind of saying, I think it's going to be a tough year for the Marines. The Marines are in a year of flux again, although I don't think they're going to finish last. I think the Eagles are destined for the cellar. I do think the Lions have made enough improvements. Last year, they started trending in the right direction, and I think they're going to be okay. Now, losing Imai is a massive loss to the pitching staff. As the lefty throws over to first base and diving back in time is Fujiwara. Gregory Polanco hitting from the left side here against the lefty. A really wide stance. Big man stands almost 6'5". There's a fastball that misses up, and the count is 1-0. Already 10 pitches delivered here by Takuchi, and 6 of them have been for balls. So falling behind in the count. Not throwing enough strike is a recipe for disaster. There's a breaking ball that Soto checks his swing on, but couldn't hold up. It's going to run to 1-1. Friend Baseball Lover asked the question, do you think the Hawks will repeat? Actually, I don't. I think this is the year we're going to see the breakthrough of the fighters. I really think that this is the year that they're going to squeak through. And I think it's going to be a Fighters-Tigers Japan series. As the pitch is a fastball that comes inside and is fouled away by Polanco, and the count now goes to 1-2. I think last year, the Climax Series in the Pacific League was a learning experience for the fighters. I think another year, that year under their belt will do wonders for them. Our friend Samurai Prayer said that he was surprised Takahashi didn't get scooped up by MLB team. There's a breaking ball that swung on and missed, and it's going to put Polanco in the books. He's gone for the second out. Actually, I'm not surprised that Takahashi didn't make a big league team this year or wasn't selected. I really liked Takahashi a couple years ago, and it was the 2024 season he came out and he didn't get a win because he had asked to be posted after the 2023 season, and the Lions basically said they weren't going to do it. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Yamaguchi. And I wonder, with his public request and the way that he went about it, if he was pouting. Yamaguchi 5 for 16 in the spring, no homers and 2 RBIs. In other words, just did his body language, everything just didn't seem to be right. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count goes to 1-1. And I don't know this for fact because I'm not there, but just the way that he carried himself and the way everything was. I saw him pitch that year too against the Fighters in Takarazawa, the home of the Lions. There's a breaking ball waved at it, missed. Count 1-2 to Yamaguchi. And he just didn't look like the same pitcher. He didn't have that same mojo. I give him credit last year. Last year, he looked like he trimmed down in some weight, lost some weight, looked like he got into better shape. So here's the pitch. It is a fastball that is golfed into right center field. Moving over is the center fielder. Underneath it, Nishikawa to make the catch, and that is going to do it. I'll come back and offer my further thoughts on this in just a moment. We'll be back in just a few on Takahashi. No runs in the inning. They strand the leadoff hit by Fujiwara. There was no errors and the runner left aboard. We are through one complete inning. Your score is the Lions nothing and the Marines nothing. Stick around, everybody. We'll come back and chat with the chat when we continue in just a few. Hang with us. We'll be right back in a bit. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Tonosaki, Kojima, and Canario to come to bat here in inning number 2 for the Lions. As Maury had delivered 16 pitches in his first inning of work. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball that misses outside for ball 1. I was talking about Kona Takahashi in that last half inning. I will say, to his credit, he came out in great shape last year. And he pitched okay, but I don't know if he did enough for that to happen. There's the fastball swung on. This is lifted into deep center field. Moving back onto the warning track and hauling it in is the center fielder, Takabe. And that is going to retire Tonosaki. He sent that ball for a ride, just not deep enough. He's gone for out number 1, and that is going to bring up Taiga Kojima. Baseball Lover 1984 said if that was the series, the Fighters and the Tigers, he'd be cheering for the Tigers in that one. As the first pitch is on its way, there's a breaking ball that just misses up and in, and the count is 1-0 to Kojima. Kojima getting the start behind the plate tonight for the Lions. As the pitch is on the way, there's a fastball swung on, and it's grounded foul down the first baseline. The count now goes even at 1-1. I would say this also, too, that we were talking about the Lions. The Lions' problem over the last probably 10 years, they can't hang on to their stars. The number of players that have left, either domestically or internationally. Fastball swung on, lifted into right field. Moving back and underneath it there to make the catch is Fujiwara, and that's going to retire Kojima for the second out of the inning. So 2 quick outs here in inning number 2, and it's going to bring up the right fielder in Alexander Canario. One of the things I was getting at is that you look at the Lions in terms of their stars. You think of the pitchers and the hitters. The 3 that come to mind, obviously, Amai leaving last year. You had Shogo Akiyama left to the big leagues. He went to the Cincinnati Reds, and Yusei Kikuchi, as that breaking ball is taken for a called strike, counts 0-1 to Canario. Canario 6 for 23 in exhibition play, no homers and an RBI, hitting .261. Really waggling the bat as the pitch is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1. But when you think, as I say, about the Lions, when you lose Amai most recently, you lost Kikuchi a few years ago, you lose Akiyama, all three of those guys go to Major League Baseball. Fastball misses inside, count is 2-1. You trade Hotaki Yamakawa because, well, he fell out of favor. He was a disgrace because of the off-field events that happened when he was with your club. And then you have your Pacific League MVP, Tomoya Mori, ship off to the Buffaloes. Fastball swung on, popped up over on the right side, moving over underneath it and making the catch is the second baseman, Ogawa, and that is going to do it here as Canario's gone for out number 3. That'll do it here in the top of the second for the Lions. They go quietly, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. I'll come back with the bottom of the second and continue on this conversation about what is happening in the Lions camp in just a few. Your score as we move to the bottom of the second inning, it is 0-0. Stick around, everybody. Our friend Steve will keep you entertained tonight, as he does every night on the channel.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. I was talking about the Lions unable to keep their stars, whether it be domestically or internationally, as they have a new set and a new crew of players. They got some veterans that they brought in. Hopefully will stabilize their ball club as the first pitch is on the way. It's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1 to Ryusi Terachi. Terachi getting the start at third base tonight. From the left side as the pitch is a fastball that just misses inside, and the count runs even to 1-1. 4 for 24, batting .167 in the exhibition season. No homers and 1 RBI for the third baseman of the Marines. As he swings at a fastball, unless that one foul, it's going to go over top of the third base dugout. The count goes to 1-2. Baseball lover 1984. 84 was a good year. That was the Detroit Tigers winning the World Series, knocking off the San Diego Padres in 5 games. There's a breaking ball lifted down the left field line. Giving chase is the left fielder, the shortstop, and third baseman, but it's going to slice its way into that temporary seating. And the count is 1-2 to Terachi. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. As I mentioned, we'll get a game in on Sunday, the Sunday game. Nothing for tomorrow night. There's a fastball swung on another bat that's broken, and this ball is going to loop into left field for a base hit. So we've seen already tonight a couple of bats been sawed off. Takabe with a broken bat single, and that is going to bring up Yudai Fujioka to the plate. Fujioka, the shortstop of the Marines here in this one. And the second time, they would just the handle was left in the hand of the batter. Difference on this one here on the base hit there by Takabe is, or I should say not Takabe, it was Terachi. The base hit by him, his bat was going into the foul territory where the broken bat off the bat of Fujiwara ended up going towards the first base, second base area. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and Takabe's in the hole at 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Left-hander against the left-hander as Michi delivers it as a fastball at the knees, taken for a called strike in the count now. Goes to no balls and 2 strikes. I'm making a meal of my scorecard here tonight, and we've just started in the first inning here. So no balls and 2 strikes it is. As the lefty ready to go, he kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded to the first baseman, but it's just going to go foul. Shinya Hasegawa had to come off the bag. I don't know if he would have been able to get the runner at second base or not. But 0-2 it is here to DeKalb. So we're ready to go back at it again as Takichi gets a new ball. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. Count runs to 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. Our friend Samurai Prayer says that 2005 was the best year for Chiba. There's a breaking ball that is swung on. It has popped up over on the third base side. It's in foul territory. Underneath it, and there to make the catch is Watanabe. And that is going to retire DeKalb for the first out of the inning. He's gone for out number 1. That'll bring up the shortstop, Udai Fujioka. As they went on to beat the Hanshin Tigers in the Nippon series, he says that was disastrous. Yeah, Chiba, I saw a game in Chiba a couple years ago, and my thoughts at the it's a nice stadium. The outside, like but it doesn't have a feel of a baseball stadium. And there's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-1. I was saying it last night. When you think of in North America, the old Vet in Philadelphia, Three Rivers Stadium in Pittsburgh, Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, those ones come to mind. And mainly because I'd been to those stadiums. That they used them for both football and baseball. It never really had a feel. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 2-1. And when you go to the game in Chiba doesn't feel like a baseball stadium. It feels like it is, maybe rugby, soccer, cricket would be better played there. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. A fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats on the third base side. Count goes to 2-2. Our friend Gracie Lynn's in the house tonight. We were talking about you the other day. We thought we would keep saying your name and we'd speak you into existence, but not to avail. Got an early exhibition game here tonight. There's a fastball swung on it. It's grounded over to second. They go to second for 1. Back to first. That's going to be an inning-ending double play of the 6-4-3 variety. And that is going to do it here for the Marines in their half of the second inning. Well, they had no runs in the inning. They did have a hit. There was no errors, and there was nobody left aboard. Your scores, we now move to the top of the third. It is 0-0. We'll come back and talk to our friend Gracie Lynn, and we'll talk to our friend Samurai Prayer, who is holding it down from Osaka. So we've got Gracie Lynn in Costa Rica tonight and Samurai Prayer in Osaka, and we're going to be back in just a few.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. The starting pitcher, Mori, is back on the mound here for his third inning work, and he's going to be facing the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. It'll be Kazunori Ishii, Natsuo Takazawa, and the top of the order, Masayuki Kuwahara. Our friend Gracie Lynn said she was going to try to join us for some classic games, but all our games were in the middle of the night. Yeah, I was the only ones, unfortunately, we could do. We're going to do the Canada-Cuba game, but even that was a bit difficult to have to double back on. As I mentioned, they'll be doing the game tonight as there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count is 1 ball and no strike on Ishii. Ishii in the Lions uniform this year was a staple with the Kaido Nippon Ham Fighters for the last number of years. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul, and the count runs even to 1-1. And so, as I was mentioning, we're going to do a game. We're not going to do anything tomorrow. We're going to call a game on one of the Sunday games in Japan, which would be Saturday evening, North America. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball missing down. And we won't do anything on Sunday. I don't believe we're going to do anything on Sunday. And then we're going to call the semifinal game on Monday night. I just can't do the game on Sunday. It's just there's too many things going on. And then we'll call the final on Tuesday. So the last 2 classic games we'll get a chance to watch and give our thoughts as that fastball is ripped down the right field line foul, and the count goes to 2-2. So that's what our plans are going to be. Going back up to Samurai Prairie, said that Chiba Stadium is famous for the strong winds. When I was there, it's very close to the water. There's a breaking ball that misses up. They appealed to the third base umpire, but they say that Ishii didn't go around. It's now 3-2. It was at the tail end of a typhoon. A typhoon had hit, I want to say hit Osaka or just east of Osaka in 2024. And the remnants of the rain was up into the Tokyo area. They got it a day or 2 later as that fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. And the first 7 innings of the game was pretty calm in Chiba. And the 8th and the 9th innings, they literally played in rain that was flying sideways and upside down. Here's the 3-2 pitch. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up in foul territory on the third base side, over into the third base coach's box, and hauling it in for the out is Terachi. And so Ishii is gone for out number 1, and that'll bring up the shortstop in Natsuo Takazawa. And literally when I left the park in Chiba, the buses, they have this bus loop. And the bus was sitting in water that must have been, like the curb to the bus loop was probably about literally like 1.5 to 2 feet off the ground. And that's about how high the water was. It was unbelievable. Fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the third base side. And when you leave, if you're leaving on foot, if you don't park at the stadium, you have to walk a little bit, go across a crosswalk over the highway to be able to get to the train station. So most people, because it was raining so hard, they kept the stadium open for everybody. And they said it would have been about 30 minutes until you could get a break to be able to go. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count was 1-1. And when you were walking on this path, they had a ditch near the high, like a path, a ditch, and then the roadway. As that breaking ball misses, it's 2-1. And the water was literally in that ditch, the same height as the sidewalk. So you had to be walking around behind people who knew where they were going. If you took a wrong step to the left, you go into the ditch. 3 balls and 1 strike. And then when you got to a certain point, then you were able to get the crosswalk and get over to where the train was. But for the Japanese listeners that are in here, they will know that if a tsunami hits, or not a tsunami, maybe a tsunami too, but if a typhoon hits, that sometimes the trains are delayed because there's so much water that gets into the rail. As there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 3-2. And so that could delay you in where you have to go. I was fortunate I was still able to get back. I was staying in Karame, I think is how they say it, near Asakusa and Saitama in Tokyo. So I was able to get my train back. Fastball misses down and away, and that's going to be ball 4. And Takazawa is going to get himself a 1-out walk. And it's going to bring up the top of the order in Masayuki Kuwahara. Gracie Lynch says both semifinals should be on the same day. Yeah, I don't know who's making the schedule for this thing. I didn't like the fact that the Asian teams were flying across to North America to play one game potentially. If Korea loses the game to the Dominican, they're just over for one game. I thought they were going to do like a secondary pool where you come and you get a chance to pool up with the other two teams that had gone through, and then they would make a semifinal and final out of that. So I don't know who's constructing the schedule. There's a fastball that's down and in. Off goes the runner down to second base. The throw is offline. It's on the right field side of second base. And that is going to be a stolen base here for Takazawa. So he moves into scoring position. I didn't get to see if the right hand of the home plate umpire went out. I do know this. The second base umpire was a little too close to the action as he was almost right on top of the base. So Kuwahara, the first pitch to him was a strike. Here comes the 0-1 offering. As lefty Mori delivers, it's a fastball that misses in, and the count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Left-hander against the right-hander as Mori gets the sign from his catcher tonight, Matsukawa, as the lefty checks the runner at second, now delivers. Fastball swung on, lined into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. We're going to get a run here. That's into the corner. Rounding first and heading to second is Kuwahara, and he's going to get himself an RBI double, and the Lions are on the board first here. So the former base star picks himself up an RBI. In to score is Takazawa. And the Lions have grabbed an early 1-0 lead here in the top of the third inning. And that is going to bring up the first baseman, Shinya Hasegawa, to the plate. And for Hasegawa, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out in his only trip to the dish. As the lefty ready to go again, he holds to the set. Pitch on the way. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Our friend Gracie Lynn says the World Baseball Classic needs to move to the summer, and the MLB needs to take a couple of week break, just like the NHL does. Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. Everybody would be in peak performance at that point in time. As the 0-1 pitch is on the way. Fastball swung on, lifted into right center field, moving over to his left and making the catch as the center fielder DeCabi is tagging and heading to third is Kuwahara, and that is going to bring up Manaya Nishikawa to the plate here with 2 gone. Yeah, and that's another thing too. But not only does Major League Baseball have to do that, everybody else has to be in agreement with it too. And that is another piece. So like now you've got to get the Japanese league, the Korean league, the Taiwanese league. I think that's easy to do. I'm pretty sure the European leagues could be strong-armed into that to allow their players to go as necessary. And then the Latin leagues, I don't think that would be an issue for them as well. But at the same time, I also think that they may want to have an incentive to do it. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nishikawa. So I don't disagree that it should be played in the middle of the season. So no balls, 1 strike here. Nishikawa waits. He's 1 for 1 tonight. Had a single his first trip to the dish, and he's breaking ball down. Nice stop there by the catcher Matsukawa. Gracie Lynn giving us a hockey update. The second team that you mentioned that plays in the city that I live near is definitely destined for that first overall pick. There's a fastball swung on. This is sliced down the left field line, giving chase. And watching it drift into the seats is Yamaguchi. That's going to run the count to 1-2 on Nishikawa. I also have another beef with this. For the example, the roster that the Americans had, going into the series, they all of a sudden were able to drop. They added three bullpen arms to the roster. And I'm not a big fan of that. Once you set your 30-player roster, unless somebody is injured, then you can take them off. But you think of Tarek Skubal, what a waste of Skubal pitching against Great Britain as that ball swung on and fouled away. 1-2 to Nishikawa. I mean, I would think that Skeens and Skubal would be able to throw against anybody in that tournament. Would be pretty good. But why waste Skubal against Great Britain? You could get a third or fourth starter coming off of Tommy John surgery, doing rehab starts, should be able to take care of Great Britain. There's a breaking ball down in the dirt. It squirts away from the catcher Matsukawa up the third baseline, but he's going to retrieve that, and that is going to keep the runner at bay at third base in Kuwahara. The count now goes to 2-2. Yeah, the other option would be to run that tournament in November, because November is another time the United States, I shouldn't say United States, Major League Baseball has done tours in November over to Asia. As the 2-2 is on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the first base side, and the count remains at 2-2. So I'd be all for that. I'd be all over that particular piece, at least in my opinion. Love to see that. So 2-2 to Nishikawa. Runner at third, Kuwahara. There's already one run on the board here in the top of the third. There's a fastball that just misses below the knees. Count goes to 3-2 on Nishikawa. Yeah, I know there's a draft lottery, but in hockey, it just seems like it's more stacked in the favor of that team. I don't even know who the second and third worst teams are. I just know who the worst one is. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, grounded over to the right side, fielded by the first baseman Soto, who underhand flips it to the pitcher covering. That's a ground out 3-1 for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Lions. Well, they open up the scoring. They had one run in the inning on the benefit of two hits. There was, check that, one hit. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. Your scores moved to the bottom of the third. It is 1-0 for the Lions. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this timeout. Stay with us. One nothing is the score for the Lions as we cruise to the bottom of inning number 3. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments with all the action.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game. Really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course, I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. It's the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat. That is Kao Matsukawa, Ryusi Ogawa, and the top of the order, Kyoto Fujiwara. The first pitch was a fastball swung on and missed by Matsukawa, and then he takes a breaking ball in the dirt, and the count is 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. I haven't really paid much attention. In fact, hardly even watched the Olympics, period. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Normally, if I pay attention to the hockey, watching the international hockey, but I don't even like the format of the Olympics. I like the format of the World Hockey Championships at the end of the year, but they don't get the best on best normally. Fastball swung on, popped up down the right field line. Giving chase is Alexander Canario, as well as the first baseman and second baseman, who is going to short hop into the netting. It's going to run the count or keep the count at 1-2 at Matsukawa. As we mentioned, we'll get the other games in our schedule. Then we'll have a day off in the middle of next week. We got a travel day for me. And then we'll come back and we'll call some of the games on more than likely Saturday and Sunday. Maybe squeeze a Friday game in. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to short. Fielded neatly by Takazawa, who fires the first. And Matsukawa has gone on a ground out 6-3. So one of the books, that's going to bring up the second baseman in Ryusuke Ogawa. So I'll be in your time zone for a little bit. One of the things that's going to be interesting is that we sprung ahead with our clocks, and it's now come into law here. We're not going to spring ahead again. We are going to stay on our time zone that we're in. So everybody else will be doing well, not everybody, but a lot of the other states and provinces will be doing the shifting of the time zone. As there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 here to Ogawa. There's a breaking ball missing down and away, and the count goes to 1-1. But we're no longer going to be doing the daylight savings time. We are on it for good. Here's the 1-1. Breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the lefty again kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that is swung on and fouled away. Count goes to 1-2. And another thing is obviously a couple other countries, one that weren't in the tournament. No Belarus, and certainly no Russia in that tournament. So obviously, from our perspective, there's a ground ball hit over to first. And it was kind of funny as the runner Ogawa stopped, and then all the first baseman had to do, Hasegawa, is walk backwards and step on the base. So it's a ground out to 3 for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the top of the order in Kyoto Fujiwara. Yeah, it's something. So it'll be interesting when you go down to Washington State, you'll be on a different time than they are. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. There was a lot of talk for a number of years that California, Washington, and Oregon were going to stop changing the clocks. And if they made the change, then we would go with them. There's a breaking ball that's fouled away, and the count is 1-2. That being said, with the way that it worked, a very interesting piece. We were going and they're not. So I think they want to go too, but too much of it is stuck in politics, so to speak. There's another broken bat. This one's grounded over to the first base side. Diving for it was the first baseman, Hasegawa. He couldn't make the play, and then it took a funny hop and ate up the second baseman, which is Kazunori Ishii. Going to have to wait and see how they score that one. I think that's going to be an error on the second baseman, but I would have to think. I think it was the diving effort by the first baseman that got Ishii confused. We're going to give it an E4 over here. We'll wait to see what they officially will have it do, but I think that's an error. That's going to bring up Neftali Soto to the plate. Friend Gracie Lynch said she never thought she'd be jealous at BC for anything. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, count 1-1. Other than the mountains, the ocean, the clean air, and the wilderness and the nature, probably wouldn't have anything else that you would want. So here comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a breaking ball that's missing low, and the count now goes to 1-1. I don't know about the 5 a.m. daylight. I know I know it's easy to get home from a night on the town. Here comes the 0-2 pitch as the lefty kicks and fires. There is a fastball that misses outside. The runner's on the move, and he is going to reach safely as Fujiwara is going to steal second base. So I had it at 1-1. I wonder if they had a reversed and checked that call. So we're going to see what it is. They've got it at 1-2 strikes. I think the pitch before they had appealed down over to first base, and they must have said that Soto had gone. So 1-2 strikes it is. As the pitch is on the way, fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count is still going to be at 1-2. Our friend Samurai Prayer says Matsukawa was the catcher for Sasaki's perfect game. He was only 19. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, grounded over to third, fielded by Watanabe on the backhand. He fires across the diamond, and that is going to retire Soto on a ground out 5-3 to end the inning here. And that will do it for the Marines in their half of the third. You've got no runs in the inning. We're going to wait to see. Did they charge him? I don't know if they gave him an error or not. Looks like they gave him a hit. I don't know about that one. So maybe that's some friendly scoring here for Fujiwara. Looks like he has been awarded a base hit here. So no runs in the inning. There was a hit, no errors. There was a runner left aboard. Going to have to talk to that Marine score. We are a third of the way into this one. Your score is the Lions 1, the Marines no score. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this, after another one of our musical timeouts. We'll be right back in just a couple of moments. I got some other information to share with the chat, and we'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Seiya Watanabe, then it's Shuta Tonosaki and Taiga Kojima coming to bat here. It's 0-1 right now to Watanabe as he fouled away the first pitch. And there he swings and lifts it into deep left center field. This ball could be trouble. And this ball is gone. A home run as Watanabe lifts it into the picnic area just beyond the fence in left field. And the Lions have now taken a 2-0 lead here over the Marines. So a leadoff home run here to start the fourth inning. I liked what I saw him last year. He played a lot of left field, getting the start at third base tonight. And so for me, watching him, very interested in this. What I was going to say is our friend the other night, we had Demon Slayer and My Cool Hooks in the chat as the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed. Count is quickly 1-1 to Tonosaki. Tonosaki 0-1 flew up to center his first time up. We were talking the other night, and our friend Demon Slayer has a algorithm that he has, and he said he was using for both basketball and baseball, two different algorithms, as that breaking ball is taken for a called strike. And what he does is he runs it into Grok, which is the AI format on Twitter. And he tells Grok which games he wants to pick in NCAA basketball or in Major League Baseball. And then it spits out the results and it gives you so on and so forth. So he's been using that on the basis for his gambling or for his way to place his bets. And so anyways, he sent it along to myself and we shared it with my cool hooks. And anyways, I ran some experiments over the last couple of days. I picked 4 games yesterday and 5 today. And so far I've hit on 7 of the 9 games that I've picked. I've just done a straight up money line, nothing major. I mean, I've lost a couple of games out of that, but still running at 77% right now on the picks is not bad. Here's the 2-2 pitch. There's a fastball swung on and fouled straight back. And where I'm using them are on the picks that are between, say, for example, simulated between 52 and 60%, where you're going to get a victory, where they say, hey, we've run it this many times. And I looked at all the data that he has, and some of it's beyond my scope. I can't figure out some of it, but certainly it's an algorithm that he has that was able to do it. So it's been kind of fun. I'm going to run my tests here on some of the NCAA basketball stuff for the next little bit. Maybe we'll see if we can do a little bit more. So we are basically up right now. If I told you 30%, I'd be lying. I'd probably be more like about 25% right now in the games that we put our nickels on here in the last little bit. So that ball swung on and fouled away. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tonosaki. And there's a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle. Moving to his left to field it is the shortstop, Fujioka. He throws to first. Tonosaki's in the books on a ground out, 6-3. He's out for out number 1. That's going to bring up Taiga Kojima to the plate. So Gracie Lynn says, rather impressive. Companies will be shutting that down soon. No way they want to let you have a reasonable chance. Well, it does a whole bunch of things. It'll give you, what the over-unders would be, the total scoring, all that stuff. I mean, it's something that I don't really care about, a lot of the things. It was just, for me, just a straight up where it's going to be. First pitch fastball delivered to Kojima is taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. And so what you do is, what I did is I ran it through ChatGPT. Breaking ball that misses down and away, count goes to 1-1, the simulation that is. Then it spits you out all full report, and then you take that and use it for what you want. It's not perfect, but it does start to increase your odds of success. Breaking ball swung on, lifted into the left side of the infield. Backing up on it is the third baseman of the Marines, and it is going to be hauled in by Tarachi for the second out of the inning. And that is going to leave it up to the right fielder, Alexander Canario. Well, for Canario, he is 0 for 1 tonight. He popped out to second base to end the second inning. This game's got a pretty decent clip to it right now as the pitch is on the way. I say that'll be the broadcaster jinx, as Canario has swung and missed at the first pitch. It's 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. As I mentioned, the Demon Slayer had provided that, and I thought that was kind of cool, and he sent the basketball by mistake, so that was the one actually I'm kind of more interested in. Canario had swung and missed at that. He's 0-2 in the hole here. Again, the lefty holds to the set. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball down. It squirts away from the catcher, Matsukawa, and that's going to run the count to 1 ball and 2 strikes. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. I was saying a little bit earlier about the parks in Japan and not liking the Marines Stadium per se, but I will say this, it is super clean. It is at an interesting location of how to get there. The infrastructure is pretty cool. And so from that standpoint, it's not bad. There's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and Canario's gone in the books for the third out of the inning. But the Lions add to their lead. A solo shot to begin the inning by Seiya Watanabe. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 4th inning. It is a 2-0 game. And I'll be back in just a couple moments, and I'll carry on explaining what it is to my friend Gracie Lynn. We'll be back in a bit. Hang tight, everybody. Welcome back, everybody. It is a 2-0 lead on the solo shot by Seiya Watanabe to lead off the top of inning number 4. The Marines will be sending to bat Gregory Polanco, Koki Yamaguchi, and Ryusi Tarachi. So a nice job there by Seiya Watanabe. I was saying earlier in the stream about Watanabe being a intriguing bat. He was a rookie last year for the Lions. And the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball that misses inside. It's 1 ball and no strikes to Polanco. Polanco 0 for 1 tonight, struck out his first time up. 6 for 18 in the exhibition play. No homers and a couple RBIs. Taking a breaking ball on the outside corner, and count goes to 0-2. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, what exactly is the methodology? As there's a fastball that is swung on, it is popped up over on the third base side, moving over underneath. It is Watanabe. He makes the catch in the third base coach's box, and Polanco is gone for the first out of the inning. That'll bring up the left fielder in Koki Yamaguchi. Basically, what he did is it's like an enhanced advanced handicapping model, and the transcribe is to predict outcomes of NBA or NCAA games, estimating win probabilities, and they go through a whole thing. So it's not necessarily code, but it does take into effect statistics where they want to extrapolate things. As that breaking ball misses outside, the count is 1-0. So Gracie Lynn, if you want it, just send me an email. I'd be happy to forward it to you, and then you can examine it and do a full report for us. 1 ball and 1 strike to Yamaguchi, but all I can say that, it also takes into effect current rosters, depth charts. And so I said, sure, let's give it a try. As that breaking ball is swung on and missed. It's now 1 ball and 2 strikes to Yamaguchi. So it's not just code, I guess would be the way I would put it. As the lefty delivers, it's a fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line. Count is 1-2. Our friend Samurai Prayer asks where Gracie's at. Spends half her time in Alabama and the other half in Costa Rica. It's a pretty good life. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Yamaguchi's in the books. He's out for the second out of the inning. He's going to bring up the third baseman and Ryusi Tarachi. And probably the best part would be being in Costa Rica. But that's me being biased. So here comes the first offering here. The first pitch is a fastball that misses outside. Count is 1-0 to Tarachi. Tarachi had a single his first time up, but he was erased in a double play. 5 for 25 in the exhibition play, batting an even 200 as there's a breaking ball missing down, and it's now 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Heredia is a very nice place. As I remember staying in Heredia for a couple of nights. There was a fastball that is taken for a call strike. When you get political, I remember I was in Heredia. This is, of course, before we were carrying cell phones all over the place. And I remember calling back and talking to my mom as there was a ground ball hit over to second. Fielded neatly by the second baseman Ishii, who throws to first, and Tarachi's gone on a ground out 4-3, and quietly go the Marines in their half of the 4th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now moving to The top half of inning number 5, your score is a 2-0 lead for the Lions. We return in just a few. We appreciate you guys for listening in on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. More action to come in just a little bit. We got a score line of 2-0 for the Lions. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball.
Welcome back, everybody. We do have a pitching change as the Marines are going to their bullpen. Kaito Mori's day is done. And they'll be turning the ball over to number 60, and it is going to be Yamato. That is all he goes by. So we always laugh and say when they call you by one name, you better be pretty good. And they've got a couple of guys with one names here, so we'll see how this is going to work out. So Yamato on the mound. He's doing his tune-up tosses. We'll carry on our chat with the chat as everybody who has popped in here tonight. Our friend Gracie Lynn, we were talking about earlier, we were saying about the algorithm that, I say an algorithm, but at least what our friend Demon Slayer had provided. It's kind of neat. And as I say, I'm going to play with it for a little bit and see if we can continue to knock off some more results with that. I'm also interested to see it for the baseball season. And then it tells you, it'll ask you point blank. They'll say, which games do you want to look at? And then you just basically copy and paste the games off of somewhere and put it in, and it'll start to give you the results of that. And it gives you a whole host of information, probably more information than I need to know. So this is going to bring Kazunori Ishii to the plate. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters to come to bat for the Lions. As the pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Ishii, Takezawa, and the top of the order, Kuwahara, to face the right-hander Yamato, who rocks into the windup and delivers. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field, moving back, and now camping out underneath it with room to make the catch is Yamaguchi, and that's going to retire Ishii for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. It's going to bring up the shortstop in Natsuo Takezawa. Well, for Takezawa, he is walked, stole a base, and has scored the first run of the ball game for the Lions. As he will face Yamato. One thing I noticed about Yamato, he's very strong in his lower half. It is very noticeable. There's a fastball that is swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. The count is 0-1. My first time seeing him. 5 for 15 in exhibition play for Takezawa. As the pitch is on the way, fastball swung on. This is lined into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. As fielding it on the move was the right fielder Fujiwara. So it went out single here for the shortstop of the Lions. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Masayuki Kuwahara. Well, Kuwahara tonight, 1 for 2. He's got a double and RBI, and he's also grounded out. So he knocked in the second run of the ball game for the Lions. As Kuwahara digs in, as we mentioned before, he was formerly of the Yokohama DNA Bay Stars. He had a nice run with Yokohama. Veteran player brought in, and they throw over to first base, and reaching safely is the base runner. On the attempted pickoff, Yamato with some quick feet. And ironically, I've kind of said that this game's got moving along pretty quick, but when you look at the clock, it's probably right on about the same pace it should be. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to no balls and 1 strike to Kuwahara. Right-handed hitting Kuwahara steps in, taps the other side of the plate, then the near side. Keep your eye on the base runner. He does like to run, and he's itching. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. That was what Takezawa did to get himself into scoring position the last time, and then Kuwahara turned him in with a double. So no balls and 2 strikes as establishing his lead. He's got 1 foot on the turf and 1 on the dirt. Yamato holding to the set. Here comes the pitch. As he kicks and delivers, it is a fastball taken for a called 3rd strike. Oh, Kuwahara stood there. I don't think he liked the call, but he doesn't have any choice as he's going to go back to the dugout for the 2nd out of the inning, and it's going to bring Shinya Hasegawa to the plate. And for Hasegawa, well, 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and flown to center. Pitch on the way. It is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. Hasegawa is 7 for 20 in exhibition play, hitting .350 with no homers and a couple of runs batted in. He's got that open stance. Wears a nice punter blue shin guard on his left leg. Definitely stands out. There's a fastball swung through and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. Haven't really seen a lot of off-speed stuff from Yamato. So no balls and 2 strikes. Not a lot of crowd in Chiba for this one. I'd say if I was guessing, the stadium's probably about 25% at capacity. Here's the 0-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses way outside. The count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Our friend Gracie Lynn was commenting about the hopscotch to get flights to get down to Costa Rica, where she would have to go in a previous stream. I only imagine what the flight prices are going to look like here with the stuff that's going on in other parts of our world. Here's the 1-2. There's a breaking ball down. It goes all the way to the backstop, advancing over to second, and for that matter, all the way to third is going to be Takezawa. That's going to be a wild pitch. And he moves up 2 bases on that one. It's going to run the count to 2-2 on Hasegawa. I think he was on the move, was the base runner, and he just kept pouring right around. So he gets 2 bases on the wild pitch. Pretty impressive. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. They got another run 90 feet away from home plate. Yamato gets the sign from his young catcher as he's ready to deliver again. Here comes the 2-2. Fastball swung on, popped up on the infield. Moving over underneath it is the second baseman of the Marines as he's called everybody off, and it'll be hauled in by Ogawa, and that is going to do it here as Hasegawa's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. I think we're going to have another pitching change. This time it'll be for the Lions. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action. The bottom of the 5th is just around the corner. We are halfway through this one on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Stick around, everybody. We'll be right back in just a little bit. Your scores, we move to the bottom of the fifth inning. It is 2-0 for the Lions. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. The bottom of the fifth inning, it'll be Ito Takabe, Yudai Fujioka, and Ko Matsakawa to come to bat. We're just waiting on the confirmation of the pitching change for the Lions, as the looks like the day is done for Tanichi. Yeah, we'll get you that caught up on that in just a moment. It also looks like the Yamato's day is probably going to be done as well. It is going to be a right-hander coming into the ball game for the Lions. This will be number 52, and it's going to be Hibiki Shinohara. I hope I've said that first name right, Hibiki. So pitcher number 2 to be used by the Lions. Here tonight. Well, that is going to bring up the part of the order. It'll be, as we said, Takabe, Fujioka, and Matsakawa to come to bat here to face the right-hander, as he will take over here in the bottom half of inning number 5. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 0-1 for Takabe tonight. He had popped out to third base, his only trip to the dish. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on, grounded over to the right side. Fielded neatly by Ishii. He throws to first, and Takabe is going to be retired on a ground out, 4-3. 1 in the books, and that'll bring up the shortstop in Yudai Fujioka. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, luckily San Jose and Atlanta have like 3 direct flights a day as a shuttle, and he hasn't looked at prices yet. Well, yeah. I mean, I haven't looked at prices either. I was listening to somebody earlier today as the pitch is a fastball that misses low, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes to Fujioka. Fujioka 0 for 1. He grounded into a double play. They said that the flight prices are going to stay the same. It's the bottom line, because a lot of these airlines, the last time that there's been craziness in the other parts of the world, they've added fuel surcharges. Fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count is 1-1. So while there is a problem with the gas shortages, if you get your flight, you may not have to pay more, or pay, if you've already had your flight, you're already locked in. If you haven't got your flights wherever you're going, you might have to pay a fuel surcharge. So we'll see how that all plays out. Pitch missed outside to Fujioka, and the count is 2-1. There's a fastball swung through and missed. Count goes now to 2-2, so 2 balls and 2 strikes. Right-hander ready to go again. He kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is chopped over to third. Watanabe fields it, throws to first, and the throw is up, and it's taken Hasegawa off the bag. It looks like it's going to be an error on the third baseman. He had time to set his feet, and he ends up airmailing it over to the base. The ball was chopped into the turf, so Watanabe had to sort of wait on it. Then he came forward. He delivered it up in the air. Nice job by Hasegawa to go up and get it. By the time he came back down, the base runner had ran through the bag safely. So error on the third baseman. And if it's not an error, I want a full investigation of that Marine score from his earlier judgments. This brings the catcher, Ko Matsakawa, to the plate. He's 0 for 1 as he's grounded out to the shortstop in his first at bat. And he takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Curious to see what they're going to run behind the plate this year, as Matsakawa is listed on the second team. There's a fastball swung on, is grounded through the 4-hole into right field. That's going to be a base hit. Canario comes over and fields it, And station-to-station ball is stopping at second will be Fujioka. On the knock by Matsukawa, that's going to put runners at first and second with one gone. It'll bring up the second baseman in Ryusuke Ogawa. So really the first sustained threat here by the Marines, as they've got a couple aboard here with one gone and Ogawa coming to the plate. Ogawa will be tough to double up as he runs particularly well. As the pitch is a breaking ball down, they appeal over to the third base umpire to see if he did go or not. I don't know if Ogawa pulled back or not. No, they said it's going to be a ball. That was interesting. Like he was trying to bunt his way on. 1 ball and no strikes. Yeah, I think it's read Gracie's comments. There's a fastball that misses down, count is 2-0. I don't think I'm going to chime in on that. I think there's a there's a lot of rabbit holes you could go down there, and we want to stay making sure we're focused on the game. So even though I've alluded to it a little bit, there's a lot of frustration, I'm sure, both ends. Watch our gas prices go up almost $2 a gallon in the span of a week. Here's the pitch. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count now goes to 2-1. They've settled back a little bit, probably before they surge again. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Ogawa. The runner at second, Fujioka. The runner at first is Matsukawa. As the right-hander holds to the belt, he checks the runner at second. There's a bunt again, and he fouls it this time off the catcher, Kojima, and the count is now 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Bottom of the 5th inning. And just as a reminder for everybody, once this half inning is done, we're going to take our mini timeout. We like to call it the Japanese halftime, as they do take a 5-minute break in between the innings here. Pitch all the way. Fastball misses outside, and the count now goes to 3-2 on Ogawa. As they will come out and do a little dusting of the field, we'll go and refresh our beverage so that we can carry on our call with you guys here tonight. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to the second baseman of the Chiba Lotte Marines. 1 gone here in the inning. Here comes the pitch. As he kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on it. It is lined into left field. It is slicing, and it's going to get down foul onto the warning track. The count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ogawa. He's choked up a little bit off the end of the bat. As the right-hander ready to go again. Shinohara gets the sign. He works himself to the belt. Checks the runner over at second. There's a fastball that misses outside. That's going to be ball 4. So this is where things get dicey. The 7-hole hitter reaches on an error. It's a single by the 8-hole hitter and a walk to the 9-hole hitter. Now you've just set the table for the top of the order. Friend Gracie Lynn said, did you see that Will Warren threw 6 innings on 63 pitches in a spring start today? Yeah, he probably was trying to get more work in. So we have a conference on the mound here as we've got a real situation. Shinohara has dug himself a hole. It is going to be the top of the order in Kyoto Fujiwara. Fujiwara has been all over the base paths here today so far. He has a couple of hits. In fact, he's got 2 of the 4 Marine hits. He's also got a stolen base. 12 for 29 in the spring, hitting just over 400. So people are putting their money down on these Japanese games, usually the first 5 innings. This is where it's going to get exciting. Here comes the first offering to the left-handed hitting Fujiwara. Pitch on the way. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Only one gone here as the Marines look to cut into the 2-0 lead that the Lions have jumped out to. This is their first sustained threat of the ball game, and it's come with the pitching change. Shinohara holds set, now delivers. Fastball swung on, pop foul down the third base line. It's going to run the count to 0-2. Gracie Lynn said they want him to get 60 to 65 pitches. They didn't think he was going to have 6 up downs. Yeah, I've heard that as well about up downs being, they've been counting that, how many times a pitcher gets up to throw and sits him down. They might as well do that with bullpen arms who don't come into the game too. Guy goes up and down a couple of times as he's getting ready to come in, then you don't bring him in and you sit him back down for 4 innings. You got to bring him back in the 8th. After he's thrown a couple of bullpens, there's a fastball that misses outside. It's now 1-2 to Fujiwara. Maybe somebody will get that deep into it. I mean, it doesn't take rocket science to figure some of those things out. But I guess you need the stats and the data to help you every step of the way. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As the right-hander Shinohara works again to the set. Checks the runner at second and at third. Now delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. It's chopped up the middle. That's going to get a run in and maybe more. In to score with the first run is Fujioka as he crosses the plate. That is going to cut the lead to 2-1. RBI single off the bat of Fujiwara. So Fujiwara with a big day here so far today. And the bases are still loaded with 1 gone, and that is going to bring to the plate Neftali Soto. Well, Soto coming to the dish. 0 for 2 he is. He's flown to center and grounded to third in his 2 trips. So the Marines here who sputtered offensively through the first 4, now we're getting the engine going here. As Soto steps to the plate, hitting .286 in the spring with a homer and 4 RBIs. He is 0 for 2 tonight. And the first pitch breaking ball is taken for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. And it looks like that Gregory Polanco's night is going to be over. They've moved a pinch hitter into the on-deck circle. It's Misho Nishikawa. So the right-hander holds again to the set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, chopped over to third. Watanabe's going to come home with it for the force, back to first. And that's going to be an inning-ending double play. So that's going to go in the books as a 5-2-3 double play. It retires Soto at first. It retires Matsukawa out at the plate. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Marines. Well, they scratch 1 back, 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was an error, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Your scores, we're now through 5 complete. It is the Lions 2 and the Marines 1. Stick around with us, everybody. We're going to go get ourselves a little glass of water, maybe refresh our cup of tea. We're going to put the music on loop, and we'll be back in a few minutes with the top of inning number 6.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Naoya Masuda who is coming on in relief, and he's going to be facing Minaya Nishikawa, Seiya Watanabe, and Shuta Tonosaki, the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the batting order. 6 for 22 in the exhibition season is Nishikawa. He is 1 for 2 tonight. And the first pitch from Masuda is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. Masuda is normally the closer for the Marines. Friend Gracie Lynn said Gregory Polanco related to Jorge. I don't know if he is or not, but he was the outfield when it was Starling, Marte, McCutcheon, and Polanco, the big three in Pittsburgh, as that fastball swung on and popped up down the right field line. The second baseman, Ogawa, is going to make an over-the-shoulder catch. And Nishikawa is going to be gone for the first out of inning number 6, and that's going to bring up the third baseman in Seiya Watanabe. Well, for Watanabe, he is 1 for 2. He's given the Lions the edge here in this one, as he's got the deciding run, the home run that has them in front here 2-1. As that breaking ball misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. As I said last year, I really enjoyed watching Watanabe hit. He is 7 for 25 in exhibition play, batting .280 with a homer and 4 RBIs. 1-0 on the way. It is a fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Right-hander works himself to the belt, and Masuda ready to deliver. As he kicks and he fires, there's a breaking ball swung on. It's chopped over to short. Fielded on the run by Fujioka as he throws to first, and that is going to retire Watanabe on a ground out 6-3. So 2 gone here, and that's going to leave it up to the designated hitter and Shuta Tonosaki. They have made some changes aside from the pitcher. Sato is now behind the plate for the Marines. It looks like there's Daiki Yamamoto is the new left fielder. After you take a look to see who else is going to be making an appearance in the ball game here. We'll get our rest of our changes when they come to bat. There's a breaking ball that's taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Tonosaki. Tonosaki tonight, officially 0 for 2. He's flown to center and grounded to short in his 2 trips to the plate. As the right-hander Masuda kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This is popped up into shallow center field, and that is the second baseman, Ogawa, who's going to make the catch. And that was quick work of the inning. Masuda came in and made it look easy as he retires the side 1-2-3 here in inning number 6. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 6th inning. It is a 2-1 Lions lead. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a couple of moments after this. Bottom of the 6th is just around the corner. We got a 2-1 score line here, and we'll be back in 30 seconds with all the action.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball.
That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and we also know that it is moving to the bottom half of inning number 6. It'll be the 3, 4, and 5 spots in the batting order to come to bat, but I've speculated in the last half inning that it is not going to be Gregory Polanco, as the Marines are going to go to their bench. It is going to be Misho Nishikawa who will get a chance to come in to hit. So he will get his swings here in the back half of the ball game. So Nishikawa on to hit. Polanco's day is done. As we said, Yamaguchi and Terachi slated to follow. We do have a pitching change for the Marines. It is going to be number 41. This is Harusi Narita, as he is taking over here. So the third pitcher used. Other changes, it is Yuta Koga has gone behind the plate. And there's also some changes in the outfield, but we'll have to get caught up on that as the players come to the plate. So Nishikawa steps in, ready to face the reliever Narita here. And the first pitch is on the way. It's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1. Game has been fairly quiet and pretty tame in terms of an offensive perspective with the 2-1 scoreline here. Not a lot of traffic on the base paths as the pitch is swung on. And another busted bat. What is going on here tonight? Another one sawed right off. They might want to make a phone call into the manufacturers just to say, hey, we got a problem here. As the shortstop for the Lions, Takazawa, picks up the rest of the bat and the fragments that are in the ground. Just looking at this, the bat, and just how the bat saws off, it's very interesting. If you ever watch the movie Benchwarmers, and they say it's not a sword, well, it looks like a sword has been formed after they found these pitches off. All they got left is the little bit of the stem in their hands, and the bat is gone who knows where. So no balls and 2 strikes to Nishikawa as the right-hander works to the set, now delivers. Fastball misses down, and the count runs to 1-2. Ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander Narita ready to go again as he works himself into the belt. And now the pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Nishikawa. He's in the books for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone here. And that is slated to bring up Koki Yamaguchi to the plate. Well, for Yamaguchi, as we wait to see if it is going to be Yamaguchi or not, I'm not sure if he's the one or if that's going to be Yamamoto coming up here. No, it is still going to be Yamaguchi, and the first pitch coming to him because Yamamoto had moved into left field, so he may have moved to right. There's a breaking ball waved out and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. As we said, 0 for 2 tonight, a fly ball to center field and a strikeout. He's 5 for 18, hitting .278 in the exhibition play. As the right-hander kicks and fires, there's a fastball taken for a called strike. So no balls and 2 strikes it is to Yamaguchi. He's in the hole here. Again, the right-hander holding to the set. Now the pitch is on the way. It's a fastball that misses way upstairs, and the count now runs to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander Narita ready to go again as he holds at the belt. And now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called third strike. Oh, I'm not sure what Yamaguchi was looking at. That one catches the outside corner for a called strike. Catcher didn't even have to move his glove. Nice job there by Sato, and that is going to retire the batter for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the third baseman in Ryusi Terachi. And we'll just confirm that that's who's hitting it. It is Terachi. He is 1 for 2 tonight, a single and 2 trips. He's also grounded out to second in his other at-bat. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball that bounces up to the plate at about 46 feet. So 1 ball and no strikes. 5 for 26 in exhibition play, batting $192 with no homers and an RBI. He is below the Mendoza line. I don't know what they call it in Japan. Mendoza line is after Mario Mendoza was with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Fastball swung on, grounded over to first, dropping to one knee to field it. Picking it up and stepping on the bag is Hasegawa. It's a ground out to 3 to end the inning, and that is going to do it here in the 6th for the Marines. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board as they go quietly. The back third of the ball game is upon us, and we'll be back in just a couple of moments. Your score is the Lions 2 and the Marines 1. Is starting to look a lot like last night's game, which was 2-1. We'll be back in just a few with all the action after this musical timeout.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
That's right, everybody. Welcome back, and we appreciate our friend Steve Rademacher for keeping us in the loop. As we are going to be bringing you the top of the 7th inning, it is slated to come to bat Kojima, Canario, and Ishii. We'll keep our eye here. I think Masuda is a one and done. It is going to be Sawada. So Keisuke Sawada coming in. Relief here. I remember seeing Sawada pitch a little bit last year. He's been pretty good in the spring. 3 innings of work and nothing on his line across the board. And it is going to be looks like a pinch hitter here at the plate. We'll have to get that for the Lions here in a moment. So Sawada kicks and delivers the first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away. And it is going to be Takuya Haruma. So he is coming in to pinch hit here as Kojima's day is done. So Haruma waiting here on the offering, and it is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. We did see that there was a change. I'm just not sure where Haruma is going to be slotted in the lineup here. So no balls and 2 strikes. Pitches a fastball swung on, grounded softly over to second. They throw to first, and that is going to retire Haruma. He's going to be gone for the first out of the inning on a ground out 4-3. And that's supposed to bring up Alexander Canario. So let's see if Canario is going to get himself another at-bat here. So Haruma. So I'm just curious to see where that's going to put Koga in the batting order. And while it is going to bring Canario to the plate as he steps in for the third time today. He has struck out and popped out in his 2 trips. Swings at the first pitch and grounds that one foul over on the third base side. Count is quickly 0-1. Canario, you can see why the teams like Canario. He's got a good baseball profile, good form. Batting from the right side, slightly open stance, very athletic-looking specimen of an athlete. Pitch on the way, fastball swung on, lifted into shallow right field, and it's going to get over the head of Ogawa, and that's going to be a single here for Canario. You take him any way you can get him. He's got himself a base hit. And that is going to bring up, or slated to bring up, Kazunori Ishii. And we'll double check to see if that is going to be indeed Ishii coming to bat here. Sure looks like him. I have to do a double check. Ishii wears the number 4. Yeah, it is. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and grounded foul down the first baseline. The count is 0-1 to Ishii. Three for 19 in the exhibition play for Ishii, but it might be a different story when the lights go on. He has a decent hitter, so to speak. Played last year with the Hokkaido Nippon Ham Fighters. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Count now goes to 0-2 on Ishii. There are other games in the NPB, but I say but, as it is going to be a little bit later here tonight. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and Ishii is gone on strikes. He's out for the second out of the inning, and it's going to leave it up to the shortstop in Natsuo Takazawa. And for Takazawa, well, he helped manufacture to run his first time up. He walked, he stole a base, and he was brought home on a double by Kurihara. That has been the only run for the Lions so far in this one. Other games tonight around the NPB, starting in 10 minutes' time, is going to be at the Jingu Stadium. The Buffaloes and the Swallows go head-to-head. Fastball swung on it is popped up into shallow left field. Moving over underneath it, and with room to make the catch is Yamamoto, and that is going to do it here for the Lions in the 7th. And that'll do it here for us in this top half. Well, they had no runs in the inning. There was a hit, no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. We're moving to the bottom of the 7th inning. Your score is 2-1 for the Marines, but we'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this. It is a couple other, we'll give you the other game that's supposed to be going on later tonight at the Vantolin Dome. That goes off at 6 o'clock p.m. in the local time in Japan, and that will be the Dragons hosting the Eagles in that one. Those are your other games that will be played later tonight. We'll be back in just a couple of moments, everybody, after our rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Welcome back, everybody. The Lions are going to their bullpen. It is going to be the fourth pitcher used tonight. It is going to be number 29, and that is going to be Minato Aoyama. So Aoyama on in relief. And there looks like there is a couple of other changes defensively. We'll have to get them for you when it happens. I know one of the changes will be at third base. It looks like Seiya Watanabe's day is done, as we are ready to resume to the action here. It is going to be Haido Takabe to come to bat, and he'll be followed by Yudai Fujioka and Ko Matsukawa. We'll see if that will still be the case. There's a first pitch breaking ball that misses outside, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Split finger pitch swung on and missed, and the count now goes to a ball and a strike to Takabe. 1 ball and 1 strike. Our friend Gracie Lynn said, sorry for disappearing, her Wi-Fi crashed. There's a fastball that misses down. Count goes to 2-1. The place where I live, they're going to be doing some fiber optic upgrades toward the end of the month. And that is going to be interesting. Rural Latin American internet never has issues until you really want to use it. Yeah, there you go. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Fastball misses inside. Count goes to 3-1. So obviously the infrastructure with the fiber optics and everything else, that's a good thing. I don't think we'll be out of commission. I think it's a 2-day operation, but I think we'll be okay. Here's the 3 ball and 1 strike pitch. It's a slow breaking ball that misses upstairs. It's going to be ball 4, and Takabe is going to be aboard with a leadoff walk here to start the bottom of the 7th. Our friend Gracie Lynn says she can normally run multiple devices at once. You know, what I'm excited for is I don't know. I think Gracie Lynn's been in the stream. This year's major adventure is going to be, well, I got 2 adventures. It's going to be Taiwan again, but I'm going to be in China at the end of the calendar year. 3 weeks in China. So I want to see what it's all about with my own eyes. There's a fastball that is swung on and missed, and off to the races goes the runner Takabe. He's going to steal second. That was a good job by the hitter, Fujioka, to swing to protect the runner. He falls behind in the count at 0-1. Stolen base here for Takabe. I don't think they're going to review this one. No, they're not, which is good because it did look like the tag was high, got him up on the helmet. Gracie Lynn says, I may need to bring an oxygen mask, take some clean air to breathe. I'm not going to go to Beijing. Now squaring to bunt is Fujioka. As the pitch on the way is bunted, it's down in front. It is fielded, and firing to first is the third baseman, and that is going to be a sacrifice. Just got to double check on that if there was the third baseman, the pitcher who got to the ball first. But regardless, Fujioka gone for the first out. Advancing to third is Takabe. We'll get it again. Yeah, it was the pitcher who fielded it. And it was actually the second baseman who was covering the bag. So it's a 1-4 put out. And that is going to bring up the catcher in Ko Matsukawa. Or at least it's slated to bring him up. We're going to see if they've made a change here. I know that the Sato had come in to catch. And it is going to be Toshiya Sato, the regular. So he is coming up to bat here. Well, one of the things that has been a major change, at least in China, has been the use of electric vehicles. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. There's not too much gas that's left. I know when I was in Vietnam, you got to bring your gas mask, so to speak, because the pollution of the gas motor vehicles, the scooters and cars and everything there. But the EVs, I understand China is certainly in a lot of the parts of China. You go to some cities, you can hardly hear the cars because everything's so quiet. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over the right side of the infield, fielded by Nishikawa. They come home with it, and the tag is going to be not in time. We may go have a look at this one here. We're going to wait and see as the Marines right now temporarily have tied the game on a ground ball by Sato to the right side. Lions unable to execute the play at the plate. Doesn't look like the Lions are going to go upstairs, so maybe they're not going to do it, but we're going to get a look at the replay here. So the catcher got to the front of the plate. The throw was in time, it looked like. I don't know if they're going to go up and have a peek at this one. It looked like they may have got it on the arm, but the tag was a little bit high. Takabe looked like he slid around the tag. And, yeah, they're not going to have a peek at it. That's going to be a fielder's choice. It's going to be an RBI for Sato. In to score the tying run is Takabe. And that is going to bring Ogawa to the plate. And the first pitch is swung on and fouled away. And what do you know? The catcher was on the move. Sato, that's a rarity. So no ball and 1 strike to Ogawa. So we're all locked up here at 2s. So Sato, the runner at first. We've got 1 gone here in the bottom half of inning 7. It's now a 2-2 ball game as the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and is fouled off right at home plate. Count now 0-2 to Ogawa. It's been the bottom part of the batting order that has been a thorn in the side of the Lions tonight. The Marines' bottom part of the order, they only have 1 hit, but they've got reached on an error. They've walked. They bounced into a fielder's choice. They got a sacrifice. They've been productive in that bottom part. They've also accounted for scoring 1 of the 2 runs, and they've driven in the other. So there's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-2. The top of the order has, outside of Fujiwara, the 2, 3, and 4 spots, been a non-entity in this game. So here comes the 1-2 pitch. Right-hander works to the belt. And now the pitch on the way. Fastball misses outside. It's now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Ogawa. We are at the top of the hour. If you are in North America, it is 11 o'clock. On the Pacific Coast, it is 2 a.m. on the East Coast. So if you're sticking around here with us, we're glad you have made it in as the pitch on the way is a fastball down. Count now goes to 3-2. It was funny the other night, our friend Mike Cool Hooks, who was in the stream, they had hit the grand slam in that first inning. We were calling the game between the Hawks and the Giants, and he was debating whether or not to place a wager on it. And we were saying, yeah, you should, because there's going to be more runs to come here. And he didn't do it, and then he ended up taking a score line, and we're like, I don't know what you're doing on that one. He ended up getting a win for himself as that fastball swung on and fouled away. The count remains at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Having a good chuckle over that. So 3 balls and 2 strikes to Ogawa. Runner at first, Sato. We'll see if he's on the move again. Here comes the pitch on the way. It is a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. He was on the move, and the foul ball came off of the catcher, Koga. Like he might have got his hand on that one, the way that he was jumping up and around. So 3 balls and 2 strikes remains. Good at bat here by Ogawa. He's really been battling getting the bat to ball. In fact, Ogawa tonight, 5-pitch at bat in his first at bat. He had a 7-pitch walk in his last one, and we're now going to get the 8th pitch in this at bat. What more can you ask from your 9-hole hitter? Here's the 3-2. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded up the middle. They're only going to have the play at 1 because they had Sato on the move, and Ogawa is going to be thrown out. It's going to be a ground out 1-3. Sato advances into scoring position. It brings up the top of the order in Kyoto Fujiwara. As we mentioned, Fujiwara has had a very, very good game here today, as he has been aboard all 3 times he's come to bat. And in fact, he's got, of the hits in this one, he's got 3 of the 5 hits for the Marines. Batting from the left side here against the right-handed throwing reliever, Aoyama. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball, misses outside. I also think, too, that was one of the things with the Lions. We were talking earlier about these 2 teams. The Lions bullpen a couple of years ago was just absolutely hot garbage. They were not very good at all. And I do believe that they have sorted themselves out a little bit better on that back end. Certainly, Kai Mataira coming out of the bullpen is a huge piece to their puzzle. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count goes to 1-1 on Fujiwara. And then you can start setting it up on the backwards from there. I know Trey Wingenter was in the back of their bullpen. He got took the loss the other night. And you look at some of the other arms that they can bring out, and it's not bad. So if they have some regularity at the back end with some good starting pitching, and there's a really break ball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-1. Now, where do I see the Lions in terms of wins this year? If I'm going to pick them to finish fourth, as I have, I don't know if they're a 500 team, but I think they're maybe 4 or 5 games below, because I certainly think the Eagles and the Marines are going to be much further behind. But in saying that, the Lions are going to have to beat the teams like the Marines and the Eagles. If you're going to beat somebody, you have to beat somebody to be somebody. And I think their struggles will be with the Hawks and the Fighters, and they're going to have to play 500 baseball almost against the Oryx Buffaloes. Our friend Gracie Lynn says, "Yeah, I remember some of those Lions games. They're much more improved. They're a much more competitive group. Other than the fact that they lost Imai, there's a fastball swung on a grounded foul just past the bag at first base. Count now goes to 2-2 on Fujiwara. Outside of losing him to Major League Baseball, to the Houston Astros, I would say that they'll be decent on the mound this year. That's their biggest loss. But some of the pieces offensively that they brought in, I would expect they're going to be a better club. And in fact, also too, I thought defensively they were a little bit dicey. But I actually kind of have a soft spot for the Lions, having been to their stadium a few times. I say a soft spot because I do like the way that stadium is, even though it's as hot as all get out. Fastball swung on, lifted into deep left center field. This ball is going to get trouble. It's going to get down. It's going to get all the way to the wall. End to score comes Sato. That's the third run of the ball game for the Marines, as Fujiwara has got himself his 4th hit of the night, a double to left center field to cash in Sato. And that is going to give the Marines now a 3-2 lead here in the bottom of the 7th inning, the first time they have sniffed the lead tonight. Our friend Gracie Lynn says a pretty big loss. Hard to underestimate the loss. So you think about that. They've lost Kikuchi and they've lost Imai in the past, 7 years? 2 guys direct to Major League Baseball without passing go. Gracie Lynn says, what are your thoughts about MLB teams using 6-man rotations? There's some teams that aren't floating around the idea. They're actually going to do it. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Daido Yamamoto. Daido Yamamoto is hitting in the spot once occupied by Neftali Soto. He came into left field. I think that's where Yamaguchi ended up over at first base. Pitch on the way, breaking ball swung on, and it is popped up over on the first base side in foul territory. Moving over underneath it is Koga. He's there to make the catch. And that's going to do it as Yamamoto's gone for the 3rd out of the inning. I'll come back and offer my thoughts on the 6-man rotation in just a couple of moments. We had 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of only 1 hit. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. Your scores were through 7 completed. It is now 3-2 for the Marines. Our Filipino friend is in the house. We'll be back in just a moment. We'll talk a little bit about the 6-man pitching rotations in just a few. Appreciate you for dropping in tonight on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. The pitching parade for both of these clubs is continuing as the are going to the bullpen are the Marines, and by our count, it looks like it is going to be Shuta Takano. We'll just get that confirmation when we come back in just a moment. Our friend Gracie Lynn asked about the pitching going to a six-man rotation. I'll give you my thoughts on that a little bit, and what I think is, I think of the recovery for a pitcher. What's an appropriate timeline? Throwers have to throw. They've got to throw, and they've got to throw a lot. You've got to keep the arms moving. The arms are the legs of the upper body. And when you think of a long-distance runner, they run every day. Long-distance runners run every day, whether they run distance every day or whether they run intervals, whether they run, whatever type of training that might be. And that is what they do every single day. There's a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. It is Yuta Koga to come to bat here as he will lead it off for the Lions. And it is number 34, Shuta Takano on the mound. And the pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and two strikes. Takano has come in and thrown all strikes here to Koga. Koga is batting in the top spot. He replaces Masayuki Kuwahara. And there's a fastball waved at and missed. And he's in the books for the first out of the inning. That is a pretty quick out as Koga is gone for out number one, and we'll see if it is going to be Shinya Hasegawa or if they're going to dip into the bench. It is slated to be him. So as I was mentioning about the six-man rotation, when you think about weightlifting and going to the gym, what is the recovery time for people when they are doing their training? So there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. It is Hasegawa. He is 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, flown out, and popped out. As the pitch on the way, fastball misses up, and the count now goes to 1-1. So when you think about recovery, a four-man rotation back in its day, a pitcher would start, get 3 days off, and then he would come back out on 3 days rest and pitch again. They would have the four-man rotations, and that breaking ball misses down. Counts now 2-1. And then sometimes they might put somebody in as a spot starter. Pitchers didn't throw as hard. They were able to throw a little bit longer. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count now goes to 2-2 on Hasegawa. So I think that the extra day of the rotation with the five-man rotation gives you 4 days of recovery. Fastball swung on line into left field, and this ball is going to hook foul into the corner. Keeps the count on 2-2 to Hasegawa. But a six-man rotation, now it starts to look like you're playing in a college league where you pitch one day and then you got 5 days of rest, or possibly 6 if you have a day off in there. So you're only throwing once a week. So I'm not sure what that is going to look like. And if that is the case, if with the extra day, are they going to be able to throw a little bit harder? Now, I know this, when Trevor Bauer was throwing on 4 days rest in the NPB last year, as that breaking ball swung on and missed, Hasegawa was in the books for the second out of the inning, and that's going to bring up the center fielder in Manaya Nishikawa. Bauer, a lot of people last year, unless you're watching the games regular, Bauer, what I noticed when he had that stretch of games in June last year where he would throw like 120, 130 pitches, and then he would come back on 4 days rest and do it again. He didn't have the command. He didn't have the control. He didn't have the movement on his pitches on 4 days rest that he would have maybe the day before or the start before. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Nishikawa. Nishikawa 1 for 3 in this ball game tonight. Had a single back in the first inning. breaking ball down. They appealed to the third base umpire, but they say it didn't go. 1 ball and 1 strike. So I do think that the recovery process, especially when you have pitchers that are throwing that velocity, I think you got to look at the stuff that they have with the rest that they get. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into right field, moving over underneath it with plenty of room to make the catch is the right fielder Fujiwara, and that is going to do it for the Lions in their half of the 8th inning. They go in order with no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning, it is still a 3-2 ball game for the Marines. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a few. Slated to come to bat will be the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in the order, and we'll see who that's going to be when we come back in just a bit. Keep you entertained with our friend Steve. Check him out.
Steve here from outside his refrigerator that a lot of you like so much. So let's go inside. There's my hot sauces and other stuff. Let's see what we can do here for Freddie. Awesome game, Freddie. Keep up the good work. We love the baseball. So why don't we rip open Garbage Pail Kids just for you and the listeners. Large Marge, she belongs in the fridge. Liberty Libby, well, she belongs down here on the beer. Apple Corey, hey, he's pretty cool. Put him on that beer up here. And Target Margaret. All Series 3 Chrome Garbage Pail Kids. Freddie, back to you in the game, and everybody else, please enjoy everything he does and tip him nicely.
Welcome back, everybody. Our Filipino friend who joined us said, "I wish they were, or at least competitive this year." I'm assuming he's talking about the Lions. We were talking earlier about how our predictions are going to go. My prediction is going to be that the Lions are going to finish 4th this year, but there is a gulf between the 3 teams in the top of the league, being the Fighters, the Hawks, and the Buffaloes, and then the bottom 3 teams, the Lions, the Marines, and the Eagles. But I do think that the Lions are on their way up. Eagles are on their way to the outhouse. They've got some challenges over there. Although I do have to say that the American and import players that they have, that is with Luke Voigt in their lineup, he is going to give them some charge offensively because he's back for a full season. Well, we do have a pitching change, as it is going to be number 57, Messiah Kuroda, who is coming into the ball games. The right-hander taking over here for the Lions. And the first pitch delivered to Misha Nishikawa, and it's a fastball swung on and grounded foul. And the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. The 5th pitcher used tonight by the Lions, as there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And the count now goes to 0-2 here to Nishikawa. Nishikawa came into the ball game and hit for Gregory Polanco back in inning number 6. He struck out in his only trip to the plate. So splitting the time. Pitch on the way. There's a fastball taken for a called 3rd strike. Oh, that was right at the knees. Nishikawa's gone for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up Koki Yamaguchi to the plate. Well, the other thing is, and as Gracie Lynn points out, I'd be okay with that too. If you're stretching those starters out to 110 pitches, now you're looking at a guy who can get you 7 innings of work. You're only really having to rely on the bullpen for 2 outs, or 2 innings, I should say, 6 outs. So that becomes a little bit more of an interesting piece. And I like the look of that. Nothing worse than watching starters go out after 5, and then you got this multiple bullpen game, and you have it day in and day out. We do have a pinch hitter coming to the plate here for the Marines. It is going to be number 10. And that is going to be Kyoto Ueda. And the first pitch fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. So he bats here for Koki Yamaguchi. So Kota Ueda waits on the offering, and the pitch is a fastball that bounces up to the plate. The count goes now to 2-0 on Ueda. So you start throwing 110 pitches, be potentially an extra inning of work. Now you're up to 110 pitches, and yeah, you do get the extra day of recovery. 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and missed. The count goes to 2-1. And you think of weightlifters. If you are a weightlifter who is building muscle, the muscles basically tear and then they repair themselves to get bigger. That's the ones who are doing, the lifting to get power and strength. As the 2-1 is on the way, there's a fastball swung on. It is golfed into left center field, moving over with room to make the catch. Is the center fielder. That is Nishikawa. That's going to retire Ueda for the second out of the inning, and it'll bring Ryusi Tanichi to the plate. So you think about it, when a pitcher gets to the mound, when he's throwing, it's as if his pitches are he's going to be tearing the muscles in his forearm and his bicep and his tricep. He's not building the muscle physically, but they need time to repair. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Tanichi tonight, 1 for 3, singled, and he's grounded out twice. As the right-hander Kuroda ready to deliver again. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. I would think that some people would have a better handle on how that would actually work in terms of the science. Some of the physicians and the physio people would know how that muscles would have to repair. I think you would want to have some people that are involved in some of that on your staff. There's a fastball swung, and I'm not talking just a general doctor. The ball's fouled away, and the count is 0-2. Certainly people that are researching the biomechanics of the body and how it works. I think that would be interesting, especially recovery time. The Chicago White Sox a few years ago did a nice rebuild or retool of their training facility, and of course at their big league park as well, with the hot baths and cold baths. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to do it. Kuroda comes in and does the job here, and that is going to do it here for the Marines in their half of the 8th inning. They had no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're going to the top of the 9th inning. It is going to be a pitching change for the Marines. The Lions have to get 1 run here. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Appreciate you guys hanging in here. Our friend Humidifier Flame says, knowing both teams, I think Seibu will have a run in the 9th. And you know what? You may not be wrong with that. It is the heart of the batting order to come to bat. We'll see what that brings us in just a couple of moments. Stay with us, everybody. We're glad you're with us on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Rikuto Yokoyama who is coming onto the hill here for the Marines. He is slated to face the 4, 5, and 6 hitters. And that is going to be Keisuke Nakata who is going to lead it off here for the Lions in the 9th inning. So Nakata to lead it off, and that's supposed to be Tonosaki and Hiranuma. We'll see if that is going to hold true here. As the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep right center field. This ball could be trouble. Looking up and got to be caught against the warning track by the right fielder Fujiwara. Oh boy, he sent it a long way. He did. Keisuke Nakata. And that is going to be the first out of the inning here. The Marines fans collectively holding their breath as that ball is hauled in for out number 1, and it's slated to bring up the designated hitter and Shuta Tonosaki. Well, our friend who just popped in here, the humidifier, it is going to be Yuta Nakami who is in the pinch hit here. So Yuta Nakami in the pinch hit. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on and missed. As Tonosaki's day is finished. So Nakami in the hole here at 0-1, and the pitch is a fastball swung on, grounded softly down the first baseline. It's a fair ball, fielded neatly by Yamaguchi, flips it to the pitcher covering, and that's going to be a ground out 3-1. So I was about to say, our humidifier there, buddy, who walked in here and staked his claim, he was almost a prophet on that first pitch. That ball was absolutely scorched. That ball was hit a little bit more to the pole side by maybe about 5 feet. It probably gets out of the park, maybe 10 feet. So that is 2 quick outs here, and that is going to bring up Takuya Hiruma to the plate. Hiruma hitting .214 in the spring with he's 3 for 14, no homers and an RBI. He is 0 for 1 tonight in this one, and the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and missed. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Marines clinging to a 3-2 lead here in the 9th inning. And the pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and fouled away over on the third base side. The count now goes to 0-2. So the Lions are now down to their final out. After this game is done, we'll give you the full wrap-up. And then, of course, we're going to call it a night. There are a couple other games that are going on in the NPB. We'll get you caught up on the scoring from the Jingu. And then we will tap out for the rest of the evening. There's a split finger pitch, misses down and away, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Right-hander ready to go again. He nods in agreement with his catcher as he gets the signs. Here comes the 1-2 offering as Hiranuma waits. Pitch on the way. Kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on and another one lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. Count remains at 1-2. And if you've just joined us for the first time tonight, we appreciate you for doing that. We are going to be back on the airwaves. We won't be on tomorrow. We're taking tomorrow off, and then it'll be Saturday. So take a look at the schedule. We'll post our game up sometime in the next little bit. Then it'll be World Baseball Classic semi on Monday and final on Tuesday. Fastball misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-2. And then we'll be back into the NPB next weekend. We would definitely be doing the Saturday and Sunday games. Friday game right now, I'm not sure about because I'll probably be jet lagged at some point flying across the country. So here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander kicks, double clutches, and delivers. It's a fastball down. The appeal to the third base umpire, but they say he didn't go. Oh, Hiranuma gets lucky there. That's going to run the count full. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. So the right-hander Yokoyama ready to work again here as Hiranuma waits. The 3-2 on the way. He kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on, rolled over to the right side. Fielded by the first baseman, Yamaguchi, he underhand flips it to the pitcher covering, who's too slow to get there. Oh, that's stuff you work on in the spring training. That's got to be made. And they call the runner safe at first. I wonder if they're going to go up and have a look at this first, but I think the pitcher who was sleeping, slow to get over, and then when he decided to get over because the first baseman made the play, I don't even know if he got the base. Like his foot was in front of the bag. So Hiranuma, he's going to get exchanged for a pinch runner here. And it is going to be Tokumasa Chano, the former Oryx Buffalo, in the ball game. And Alexander Canario comes to the plate. Canario, 6 for 26 in the exhibition season, batting .269. As Yokoyama looks in, gets the sign from his catcher Sato, and he's ready to go to work. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. Canario did have a single his last time up. He's also grounded out a couple of times. Unreal. So here comes the 1-0 pitch as Yokoyama checks that runner over at first. Works himself to the belt. Now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Yokoyama nods in agreement. He works himself to the belt. As the right-hander ready to deliver. Now Canario has asked for time because he's taken forever in the set position. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Now we're going to do this all over again. Well, here comes the 1-1 as the right-hander again works himself to the belt. And the pitch on the way. Fastball swung on it, has popped up foul. It's going to reach the seats over on the first base side. The count is 1-2 on Canario. I'm interested to see how these pickups are going to work out here. That's another one I forgot about was Chano that had come across, who's obviously in to run here. His time with the Oryx Buffaloes has expired, and of course now he is in with the Saitama Seibu Lions. Here's the 1-2 offering. Right-hander holds to the set. Now it kicks and fires. Fastball misses inside. There goes the runner down to second. The throw, it was in time, but it was dropped by Ogawa. I'm going to look at the replay on that one. Chano's going to get himself a stolen base and move into scoring position. The count is now 2-2. We're going to look at the replay on this one here. The throw wasn't the best from the pitcher, but it looked like the second base umpire was ready to call out the runner. But the ball, they couldn't hang on to it. Ogawa dropped the ball. If you are a Marines fan, you're just shaking your head right now saying, well, it's gone from bad to worse. A mental miscue by the pitcher, not getting over to cover in time. Now the second baseman doesn't hang on to the ball. And he doesn't hang on to the ball not because he can't hang on to the ball. The ball probably was kicked out by the feet of Chano when he was sliding headfirst into the bag. Just an unlucky break. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on it, is hit on the ground softly to Ogawa. He throws to first. That's going to do it. It's going to be a ground out 4-3, and this game has come to an end as the Marines have come from behind to win it 3-2. No runs in the ninth. There was a hit, no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. Your final score is the Chiba Lotte Marines 3 and the Saitama Seibu Lions 2. Stick around, everybody. I'm going to wrap this up for you in just a couple of moments when we come back on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight. Much appreciated for you guys being here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
First of all, I want to thank everybody who poked their heads in tonight to listen to the call of our game. Our exhibition series games that we've been calling have been fairly well attended, which I've been rather pleased about, as opposed to recent years where we would be talking to one or two other people and ourselves throughout the night. So thank you for those of you who have stopped in. Well, we'll give you the rundown here. The Saitama Seibu Lions jumped out to an early 2-0 lead. They scored a run in the third inning. With one out, it was a walk to the shortstop, Takezawa. He stole second. Up-stepped Masayuki Kuwahara, and he drilled the double to bring home the first run of the game, and that was 1-0 in the third. Top of the fourth, Seiya Watanabe opened up the top of the fourth with a home run, a solo shot. That gave the Lions a 2-0 lead. It looked like they were going to be cruising. But in the bottom of the fifth inning, the Marines responded with one out. Yudai Fujioka reached on an error by the third baseman Watanabe. After a single by Ko Matsukawa, that put runners aboard. And then a walk to Ryusi Ogawa loading the bases. Up-stepped Kyoto Fujiwara, and he drilled home a single to bring home the first run of the game for the Marines. And that made the scoreline 2-1. That's where the score stayed until the seventh inning. It was a leadoff walk to Takabe. After Fujioka sacrificed him over to second, up-stepped Toshiya Sato, and he bounced into a fielder's choice, and that brought home the second run of the ball game. After a ground out by Ogawa, up-stepped Kyoto Fujiwara, and he drilled a double that brought home Sato, and that was the score 3-2, and that was where the game ended with that score. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors for the Marines. 2 runs, 6 hits, 1 error for the Lions. Again, that is your final score. Around the NPB tonight, nothing between the Swallows and the Buffaloes. That's in the bottom of the second inning. A later start, which will go in another 2.5 hours. It'll be the Eagles are playing at the Vantolin Dome against the Chinichi Dragons. Those are the only other games that are happening tonight in the NPB. Once again, nothing tomorrow night, everybody. We will be back on the airwaves on Saturday with North American time, which will be Sunday. We'll post our schedule. Then it'll be Monday Night Baseball. It'll be the second semifinal of the World Baseball Classic. And we'll wrap it all up with the World Baseball Classic final on Tuesday before we get back into the NPB action again. All right, everybody, we hope you all have a great night. You've been listening to the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll catch you again later in the weekend and early next week.